Hello everybody and welcome to NAIT's television studio on this wonderful Friday afternoon. I'm Ben Lowen and I'm here with the incredible
Tristan Johnston. Usually you would hear our voices on ACAC TV, but today we will be bringing you the season's final episode of NAIT NewsWatch. But with this being our last week, we go the extra mile.
Throughout the semester, we have covered various stories in our city from news to sports and even entertainment. But today, we have something a little different for you. Today, we will be premiering our stories and longer form features that we have worked on this year.
From rock climbing to radio stations to swimming cats, we take a look into topics that are close to our hearts.
Our first story takes a look at some local businesses in our city, and more specifically, the difficulty it takes to keep them open.
With more and more local businesses in our downtown core unfortunately having to close, the doors are seemingly disappearing out of nowhere. Some people are wondering what is really happening. Our Elijah Noctegal joins us with more.
Thanks guys, I'm here on White Avenue, which is typically busy with people shopping and hanging out. But as you can see here, more and more businesses are leaving the area. Whether that can be due to less foot traffic, an increase in rent, or overwhelming loan debts, businesses just aren't staying around. I had the chance to go around and talk to local business owners to see what's really going on the avenue. For some, the holiday season is a relaxing time spent with family, friends, and loved ones. But for local businesses, this is often one of the most stressful times of the year. An increase in revenue and customers is exactly what they would like at this time of the year. But for many businesses, that's just not the case. The intersection here on 104th Street and White Avenue is one of the busiest in the city, with scrambled crosswalks like this servicing hundreds of pedestrians a day. But despite all the foot traffic, businesses in the area are still wondering, where is all the business?
We're pretty reliant on foot traffic and just our repeat customers, and we are still seeing our regulars, but it's definitely feeling like not as much of a holiday on the avenue.
Lower foot traffic isn't the only thing weighing on small businesses this holiday season. Many of these businesses are still feeling the financial burdens that COVID brought upon them. Businesses like Sugared and Spiced, who applied for the Canada Emergency Business Account loans during the height of the pandemic, were given until 2024 to pay back that loan with zero interest. But with that date quickly approaching, business owners find themselves still struggling during their most stressful time of the year.
The increase in interest rates over the last 2 years, which have gone up by 5%, has been a huge burden for a lot of small businesses, and their revenue hasn't climbed enough to keep up with it or to give them a surplus in order to pay these debts.
As a result of these factors, more and more storefronts are leaving and being left vacant. But Karen Fox believes it's important to spend her money locally this holiday season so she can continue to see her favorite shops make it to the new year.
I much prefer to support local companies and products and so forth.
Elijah Noctegal, NAIT NewsWatch.
Ben, I have to ask, what was one thing that happened this year that you're still not over?
Well, Tristan, I'm still not over the closing of TSN 1260.
Me neither. Have you checked out the new Sports 1440 station?
Not quite yet, but I know where Brendan Porneshny went down to the new sports station. Let's join him and see what he learned while he was there.
Thanks, Ben and Tristan. Imagine going to your place of work one day and finding out that suddenly, without notice, the entire place is closed. For the guys at TSN 1260, that nightmare became a reality. But not all hope was lost. With the power of perseverance and passion, a new station had emerged from the bushes.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the Jason Greger Show on Sports 1440, live on Oilers Nation YouTube, and it's always presented by Play Alberta.
Broadcasted from West Edmonton Mall, a familiar voice is speaking through the local airwaves once again. Jason Greger's show covers the 2 to 6 p.m. slot on the new Sports 1440 AM radio station. The new station comes in response to the immediate shutdown of TSN 1260. Jason Greger and others were suddenly left without a base platform for their shows, so Jason got to work on a solution.
It's something the city really needed, and I knew enough people around and convinced Kevin to come and host the morning show, and obviously I knew Al from our TSN days, and I wanted to give some of the younger guys who have been around an opportunity, and that's why Brandon and Connor get their own show.
Inbox. Hey guys, is this end the Dynasty talk? Wow. Of course.
With the crew in place, they went and signed a deal with Stingray to rent time off the 1440 dial. Typically an oldies music station, Even though the broadcast is aired through the mall, the actual transmitting tower is located 80 kilometers away in Wetaskiwin. Despite potential signal problems, the station has done well to establish its brand in the city.
Stingray's our partner, and obviously they're well established, and they really care about local. So, you know, the tower location, you know, it has some limitations for signal a little bit, and you know, north of town and stuff. But overall now, you can listen online, you can listen live on the apps, you can listen everywhere. If you want to listen to our show live, there's no excuse not to, just because of all the apps and the opportunities you have now. People like wanting to hear something right now, right? If you're driving home from work, and you can tune into some podcast, but if it's recorded a few hours earlier, something might have changed. And so this way we have the best of both worlds.
The station being up and running for 3 months, there is the challenge of getting the brand name out there. The station does say, though, that the community has embraced them with community events such as this at the Canadian Ice House.
So we're active in the community, of course, whether it be hosting events, like I host Thursday Night Football at a Canadian Brew House every week. Connor does Mondays. Advertising, we got a new billboard up down on the south side of the city. Cross promotion within the other stations here at Stingray, and then social media will be the biggest aspect of it. But outside of that, just general advertising and marketing, just like you would any other business.
Regardless how it's viewed, it seems that Edmonton has entered a new era of sports media. For NAIT NewsWatch Extra, I'm Brennan Porneshny.
Tristan, I would have to say starting post-secondary was one of the scariest, yet most exciting moments of my life. But imagine arriving on campus from a different country where you live a different way of life or don't speak the native language.
Just thinking about it makes my hair stand up. Combing the pressures and lack of resources with high cost of living, studying in Canada can be a challenge.
I had the chance to talk to some international students to get their perspective on the issues they face while studying here.
Giuliani Bodini lives in Edmonton with her husband Paul. Life for them is very busy, yet they always make sure to have a hockey game on in the background. Giuliani immigrated to Canada from her hometown of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She grew up there and became an actress that worked with multiple theater companies. When President Jair Bolsonaro came to power in 2019, the political situation worsened and left Giuliani unemployed.
I was being robbed every year.
Searching for a second career and a better life, Giuliani came to Canada in 2022. She's completing a radio and television diploma at NAIT and hopes to one day work in the news or film industry. Sebastian Gutierrez has faced similar issues. He immigrated to Canada from Taiwan in 2017. Before moving, Sebastian loved Taiwan and everything about it.
I go there occasionally to go shopping and eat, and then there's a lot of street foods around my place as well.
Even 6 years later, Sebastian can still recall what his first couple months in Canada were like.
My memory of like my English still being really, really poor, obviously, and then and since my mother language is Mandarin Chinese.
These students also face many other challenges. Immigration lawyer Benny Joseph deals with this firsthand and understands the issues that present themselves.
There is no enough transit system, there is no housing, there is no proper orientation.
He also wants more resources to be available to the students to help them adjust to life in Canada.
Improve the services to international students, especially around mental health and career planning. And they don't know the system on that kind of vulnerability has to be addressed.
Students like Giuliani and Sebastian make up 18% of Canada's post-secondary population and have to pay an average 429% more in fees for an undergraduate degree. Yet in 2018, 74% of international graduates continued living and working in Canada, so some understand why their tuition is so high.
I think it's because I'm not from here and my parents didn't pay taxes here, so that's why international students pay more.
In 1996, Ontario Premier Mike Harris deregulated international tuitions for all Canadian post-secondaries. And now in 2023, international students account for 37% of total fees collected and comprise 12% of a post-secondary's operational revenue.
Now in Canada, Sebastian is in the business administration program and hopes to work in a firm, but staying here might not be as realistic as he hoped.
Because I'm usually a person that complains a lot about the winter here. Also, the cost of living, I don't see it like it can get it be improved anytime soon. Like I would most likely not gonna stay here after my studies.
For Juliani, she plans to make Canada a permanent home and is ready for the process to make it happen.
You can come here, you can study for 2 years, and then after that you can have your work permit and stay for 3 more years, and then after that you can apply for your Canadian passport, your citizenship. So it's a good way to immigrate.
2 different countries and 2 different stories, both having a common goal of bettering their lives. They came to Canada for new beginnings and are getting all of that and more. Ben Lowan, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Wow, Ben, it is great to hear stories from our international students here at NAIT. It's important, especially in our industry, to have these diverse voices in our spaces.
Absolutely, Tristan. Even NewsWatch this season wouldn't have been possible without our international classmates.
I would love to talk more about this, but unfortunately we have to move on to even more great stories from the rest of our NewsWatch team.
I'm pretty sure some of our next stories cover a cat who swims and humans who are really good at climbing.
Yep, Ben, that's called rock climbing. Stick around, because we have more on both of those after the break.
NAIT 2023 team jackets are brought to you by Refined RX Medical Aesthetics and Invincible Team Financial Group.
When you think about Christmas memories, the first thing that comes to your mind is playing with all the toys you asked for.
That's true, Ben, but I bet you didn't know where those toys have to make a long journey from in order to get under your Christmas tree. Our Christine Peters tells us about one of the stops they have to make after they leave the North Pole.
Thanks, guys. One stop that all toys have to make before they can go under your Christmas tree is at a place called CMS Famous Toys.
CMS Famous Toys is not your average toy store. It's a large national distribution center where they send all the latest toys to all the stores in Alberta and across Canada.
We have a chief toy tester, aka buyer, and she travels around the globe working with Lego, Mattel, Hasbro, all the big manufacturers, and they go to places like Hong Kong, New York, LA, and they're in showrooms and they are showing what all the upcoming toys are for the next season. And then once she decides what is going to be hot, we bring them into this big warehouse and we start distributing to a bunch of retailers across Canada. So drugstores, grocery stores, hardware stores, all across Canada. So probably about 4,000 different locations is what we're shipping from Edmonton, Alberta here.
CMS Famous Toys has been around for over 20 years, and they've shipped lots of different kinds of toys, from board games to Barbie dolls to Hot Wheels sets. Every year trends change and shopping habits change too. Online shopping is the way to go for many people.
That if there are promotions, they'll usually be online as opposed to face-to-face. So I think what actual physical bricks and mortar stores are having to do, they're trying to give people a reason to actually physically get out of the house and go into a store.
One thing that CMS Famous does is hold a multi-day sale in December, where people can come in and look at toys or pick some out to give to friends and loved ones.
We've got a lot of classics that are in vogue. So Lego, I can't tell you how many millions of dollars of Lego we still sell. The only thing we'd probably sell more of unit-wise would be Hot Wheels cars. It's amazing how many Hot Wheels we sell. So we've got classics still. A lot of games. People are kind of want to spend time with their families, kind of coming out of COVID. So a lot of puzzles, games, crafts, those type of things. I think a lot of people saw the Barbie movie that came out in the spring, so tons of Barbies this year. We're selling lots of those.
Millions and millions of toys sold per year. CMS Famous Toys is a very successful warehouse and distribution center. I'm Christine Peters, NAIT NewsWatch Extra.
Cat videos are always a hit on the internet, and one Edmontonian cat is swimming into people's hearts.
Peaches the Mermaid went viral on TikTok with over 15 million views. This fat cat has taken to swimming despite not liking it at first. Jana Humamal joins us to tell us more about Peaches.
Thanks, guys. Whenever we think of hydrotherapy, we think of the water as a form of relief for those with symptoms or other health conditions. However, this is also applicable to our beloved pets. And Edmonton's very own Peaches the Mermaid uses water as a form of therapy to lose weight.
You're a mess.
Meet Peaches, a fat diabetic cat who needs to lose weight. However, just playing around with toys isn't enough for him. So his owner takes him swimming every other week, whether Peaches likes it or not.
My friend Carly actually works for Kira here at the hydrotherapy pool. So she mentioned one day that she swims this cat named Larry. She was telling me all about Larry. I'm like, I wonder if Peach would be okay in the pool. So that's kind of where things started.
And Peaches is vocal about his dislike of the pool. This TikTok video of Peaches made a splash across the internet, and now thousands of viewers are following Peaches and his weight loss journey. Not only has he lost 1.25 kilograms, but he is also gaining muscle. Frisky Pup owner and hydrotherapist Kira Palachek believes that swimming is one of the best forms of exercise, and that the pool itself is a great healing environment for pets needing to lose weight.
Cats are not big exercise gurus. I mean, if you try and put a leash on a cat, most of them aren't going to want to walk. They pretty much do what they want. So the bonus to being in the pool is that they're getting a lot more resistance. They're actually working out harder than they would be if they were just walking on land.
Peaches is finally down on his insulin intake, and hopefully in the future he won't have to take it anymore. But while he's getting to that point, he's going to keep swimming.
He's fabulous. He's the cat's meow.
With the release of various awe-inspiring rock climbing documentaries such as Free Solo and The Dawn Wall, most people are turning their heads upwards to the sport.
But climbing on big rock faces such as El Cap is only one form of the sport. My partner on this story, Abby Cunningham, reports on the landslide of new supporters coming to the sport, from the mountains to the gym.
Thanks, guys. Even though climbing has been around since the times of ancient explorers, it's only recently started growing in popularity thanks to big wall climbers such as Alex Honnold and Tommy Caldwell. More people are getting invested in the sport and wanting to try it locally in gyms such as the one behind me, where it's cheaper and easier to learn in a safer environment.
I think that interest can be explained by the Olympics and the Pan Am Games and all those high exposure events that now where you see climbers and you're like, wow, okay, I didn't know that this is something people do.
Sport climbing is the competition form of climbing on urban walls, typically consisting of 3 main disciplines: lead, bouldering, and speed. While these are the ones seen on a competition stage, there are other forms of climbing, including top roping and auto belays, that can be found in many climbing gyms.
All the things and infrastructure that climbing has in other places, it's really exciting to be able to bring some of those experiences to Edmonton and kind of climbing getting the respect it deserves as a sport.
In Edmonton, there are currently 5 gyms, with the 6th in the stages of being built. The Rock Jungle Company owns 3 of the gyms in the city, including Niche Climbing, which is set to open in late January of 2024.
The way that climbing has grown in popularity and the busyness that we've seen in our facilities are getting to the point where the facility is too busy, so we have to open a 3rd one to accommodate all the new climbers coming in.
With the sport making its Olympic return to Paris in 2024, its Pan Am Games debut this past October, and the recent announcement of it being in the 2027 Canada Games, it's continuing to reach new heights on the world stage. This is making more local gyms want to have competitions that anyone can participate in, and not just professional level climbers, so anyone can try the sport.
You're going to see more of those friendly competition, where a gym will host a friendly Saturday morning comp and people can just register for that competition. So all those recreational climbers may say, well, I'd like to try the competition piece, but I'm not going to go to nationals because that's not necessarily where I belong in terms of performance.
Boulders Climbing in downtown Edmonton hosted its 9th Take 5 style competition in November, the gym seeing the most registrants to the event since they started running them.
So please give yourself a huge round of applause.
Organizers say that the turnout was huge and they had a large variety of climbers, many that had never competed before. These kind of events are designed to bring the community together and give anyone a chance to see how the competition works in a relaxed and inclusive environment.
Climbing very much is like all-inclusive sport. Anybody can, so long as you can haul yourself up the wall, you can climb.
Aspen Cadets has been climbing for almost 10 years, and ever since they started, they've seen a lot of change in their local gym.
Well, the gym used to be a lot emptier. But like I've seen a lot more different people coming in. Like I've seen more women and more diverse kind of body types.
And with the community only growing, what better way to share that sense of belonging and welcome more and more new people into a supportive sports environment? Whether you are new to the sport or you have been climbing for a while, there will always be community members cheering you on.
The thing I always say about new climbers coming into the climbing community is that everyone is incredibly supportive. So if you're climbing something and you're falling on it, there's probably a good chance someone else will be there to cheer you on, give you advice.
For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Abby Cunningham.
We all know that stress and students go hand in hand. With the constant pressures of keeping grades up and juggling assignments, labs, exams, and for many people, part-time jobs, students often struggle to handle stress and other mental health issues.
But there are many resources across post-secondary campuses and also around Edmonton that provide safe and fun ways to deal with stress and help blow off some steam. Our Avery Irvine joins us to tell us more about some of those resources.
Thanks, guys. So you actually just caught me in the middle of getting some glass cups and stuff to break. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Avery, why do you want to break some perfectly good dishes? Well, first off, because it's fun, but also because there is a safe place to do it here in our city at Axe Monkey's Rage Room. Now, as you said, Tristan, this is a good way to blow off some steam and just to break stuff safely. So come with me to go check out one of these de-stressing resources here in our city. Axe Monkeys is a rage room and axe throwing facility in Edmonton, giving people of all ages the chance to let out some anger in a safe and controlled environment.
Fun, release, stress relief. We have axe throwing, we have the rage rooms, which are insanely popular as well, so it's just about coming out, having a good time.
Instead of paying for time in the room, you pay for the items you want to break. You get to choose from a wide variety of things, including plates, jars, coffee pots, and they even had a ceramic toilet. The bigger the item, the more expensive it is. After a quick safety briefing and getting suited up in safety gear, you're given your weapons and then free range to break as much as you want.
It just helps you relieve the frustration. It's a good workout as well, you know, bad marks, broke up with your partner, don't like your professor, you know, parents are giving you heck. Like, come, you can release.
While rage rooms or places similar can be a great way to blow off some steam and get out frustrations, NAIT counselor Tanya Spencer doesn't always agree with the idea of them.
And I think the name Rage Room, as satisfying as that sounds, implies that they're encouraging people to feel angry when they get started on those sessions. When you come out of an activity like that, you will feel powerful, you will feel justified.
According to her, going to rage rooms consistently can cause more anger issues down the road and cause people to continuously deal with them in an aggressive way. Instead, she suggests group things like escape rooms or other forms of physical activity such as interval training or just physical exercise in general.
I think people would feel somewhat cleansed by it. If it became a habit, though, I would encourage people to think about what they really value. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily risky, but I think it's oversold.
I'm Avery Irvine for NAIT NewsWatch.
And with that, this season of NAIT NewsWatch comes to an end. What an adventure this has been, Tristan.
Absolutely, Ben. Through it all, the highs and the lows, we finally come out on the other side. But as we spread our wings and fly from various practicum placements, NAIT NewsWatch isn't going to go anywhere. After the winter break, NewsWatch will be back with new teams, new stories, and new personalities. From Tristan Johnston,
Ben Lowan, and the rest of our crew, we want to thank you for spending a little bit of time with us each week. We hope you have an amazing holiday season. Good night.